an edge to that defence that needs to stop leaking goals. So the final countdown to kick off at Amy Park, and Melbourne Victory will attack the left, from left to right I should say, on your screens. Charles and Duca to get us underway. Kick-off in round 17 of the Isuzu Ute A-League men's. Melbourne Victory at home to the Brisbane Roar, and former A-League championship winner Eric Partaloo joins me for this one. Eric, a fascinating game. Melbourne Victory favourites on paper, but the Brisbane Roar with a point to prove.
Yeah, good evening, Teo. It's a mouth-watering clash, this one at Amy Park, and the Roar got the better of the Melbourne Victory in round 6 at Suncorp in what seemed like a completely different season, if I'm honest. So much has changed since then for both of these sides, and some for the better, some for the worse. It's been good for the Victory. It's been excruciating for the Roar recently. Being in the 6 is one thing, but being premiers is another. AC/DC said it best. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
Brisbane Roar will be hoping that they can bring plenty of the aggression and intensity without it spilling over, as it perhaps has done during this run of 6 defeats in 7 games. Trying to consolidate possession here. As Victory unable to make progress initially down the right flank, but Rawlins persisted, cutting a pass into the middle. It's going to deflect kindly for him again on this phase of play. Now possession taken over by Denny Jonro. Switching flanks to the left. Juan Mata able to turn and face. Nishan Valupale surrounded by defenders, and an early corner.
You could definitely see that the Brisbane Roar are trying to play a back 5. Dench playing at left back, and McGarry moving a little bit more centrally, and that's what Nishan Valupale and Juan Mata were up against here. Not just 2, but 3.
Corner with a little touch from Luda through the penalty area. Plenty of fascination. We were trying to plot out his route from his team Hacken in Sweden, perhaps via his home in Norway. Then we were thinking maybe Frankfurt and either Dubai or Singapore, then Brisbane, then Melbourne. It's a lot of travel to be rushing into the starting 11.
Well, it must be good, and I think the Brisbane Roar are desperate for leadership and just a little bit of quality in the back line. But yeah, you're right, Teo. He must have spent more time in the air than on the ground the last couple of days, so it's going to be a whirlwind couple of days for him.
It'll be interesting to see how many minutes he has in those legs as a result. Right now, Victory slowly but surely trying to build into the game, and plenty of voice and organisation from the 32-year-old Norwegian. Look at that, he's urging the defence to press up, so he's looking to stamp himself on the group straight away. As Victory look to push on. A drifting cross over the head of Keegan Jelassic, and then at the back post, Rawlins tried to fire a shot, but he was beaten to the ball, and it's gone behind for a corner kick.
They've got to find their moments, Melbourne Victory, and where the best gaps appear for them, and it looks as though even playing a back 5, they're still able to find something inside that box. Exciting stuff from the Melbourne Victory so far.
Saw Jason Davidson and Charles Nduka at the back post for this Juan Mata corner. Dean Bazanis is up, got his right hand to the ball. It will run out for consecutive corners on the opposite side. Bazanis, 6 clean sheets in the opening run of the season, but 9 games since the Roar's last clean sheet now. Leaping up to palm that away for a corner on the opposite side, and Denis Jonro to take here. A little signal with 2 hands to the head. Jonro to the back post. And an up and under header is comfortably held onto by Bazanis off the head of Jason Davidson. And now Bazanis' distribution to D'Agostino. A few boo boys out for the former Victory man. He left Victory in 2023, so if you wanting to give him a bit of a razz as he returns to his former club.
Well, you don't mind to see that. 13 goals he scored for Melbourne Victory, and it's going to be interesting to see where he's operating, because that fast break, that fast option was something that the Roar had been using in recent weeks, but they didn't have numbers to get forward. But they had 3 orange shirts when that ball came forward from Bazanis, so that's a positive.
Of course, he opened the scoring for Roar last weekend D'Agostino, one of a number of strikers and attacking players flocking back to the A-League looking for minutes to convince Tony Popovich that they belong in the World Cup squad. Here's Nduka, the little step over. And the defence blaze away. Genro. Operating on the right side, diagonal ball telegraphed, Houston Salas. The header breaks across the face of goal, but Matthew Dench is able to clear. The head tennis back and forth. And Nduka making a presence here, and he was able to lash a volley in the end. Charles Nduka, so far his contributions have been a glaring miss and a funky handball, but here he showed perhaps why Melbourne Victory have rated him so highly.
Yeah, it's a positive start from Nduka, and perhaps that's why he's got the nod in front of Virgos. A real physical presence, had no right to get to that ball. He continues to throw himself around that Brisbane backline. You can expect a physical battle. Charles Nduka, he's up for the fight.
D'Agostino with a neat layoff. Dench, natural left footer. It's going to take a big deflection, and Jack Wyshorski pressed for impact against D'Agostino and is able to hold on. Valkanis. Ball bouncing down to Wyshorski once again. One thing we were discussing pre-game, Eric, is Brisbane Roar's travelling record to Amy Park against Melbourne Victory. 5 wins, 5 draws, 6 losses. Pretty good, almost a break-even sort of away venue for them. But it's a disaster against Melbourne City. 1 win, 18 losses. For the same venue, for the same team, how is there such a disparity between... We'll come back to that, because Roar, with a beautiful pass from D'Agostino, are on the attack. And here is Long. We know he loves to lash a shot, but he turns provider here, and the cut across is cleared away.
It's a great arrival there from Dench, and that's how they're going to attack this evening, the Brisbane Roar. It's got to be quick, it's got to go forward. It was a lovely ball through, and just here, Chris Long had an option to go himself, but he used the run, and they almost manufactured a chance to Brisbane Roar. That's a good, swift counter-attack.
Long, who's found the back of the net 3 times this season. And the Roar are going to treat this throw-in like a set-piece opportunity. As we see the ball hurled to the edge of the 6-yard box. 3 Victory players against 1 Roar attacker, and Sam Klein outpointed in the air. Luda. Now Durrington. Over to Salas. Salas right up the middle. Esposito with the header down. Referee's got to take evasive action as Sam Klein finds Matthew Dench. Dench didn't want to hit across blind, so he doubles back. McGarry. Luda to Valkanis. Now Davidson consolidating possession for Victory. Here's it to Keegan Jelassic. But yes, back to that point, how is it that Roar have so varying results against one team at the same venue than the other?
Oh, it just comes down to mentality, obviously playing against different sides, and you always feel playing against Melbourne Victory, big crowd as well, it makes a difference.
As the ball breaks centrally here for Mata.
And I guess it's just that the way that the Brisbane Roar have been functioning. You know, can they get up for big games? They've got a decent record against Melbourne Victory. Sometimes playing against the big clubs, it brings out the best in you. So Brisbane will be hoping for more of that this afternoon.
Foul here. Keegan Jelassic able to draw the free kick at the edge of the penalty area from McGarry.
Well, it's good to see Keegan Jelassic back in this side and getting more minutes for Melbourne Victory. Started the season like a house on fire and then had to sit and wait and watch. And he's got his opportunity here against one of his former clubs.
Well, he had two different stints when he went by the name Keegan Jelacic between the 2021 season and also 2023 to 25, 37 appearances and 3 goals. He's outdone that tally, 4 goals into 17 games so far this season, and he's with Juan Mata here, working out what the plan is from this set piece. Mata, headed away by Luda. And the ball will be retrieved by Jelassic. Now Jordi Valadon. So 10 minutes in, neither team with the golden opportunity to score as yet. Juan Mata.
Well, I think one of the criticisms last week and for the last couple of weeks of Brisbane Roar was just that field position and field possession in the opponent's half. And they've made a decent start getting those opportunities going forward. And yes, they want to try and score from those, but allowing a team to have the ball, this is much better from them, going and pressing high up and asking Melbourne Victory to play in their own half rather than Brisbane's. And it's a definite shift. You can see they've gone flexible in their formation, almost a 5-4-1 when they don't have the ball.
McGarry, D'Agostino appeals for offside, but the flag stays down, and now a long shot is just wide of the bottom left corner. Wachowski may have had it covered. Raw think it's a corner. Michael Roos is asking, but it's going to be a goal kick.
Oh, it's going to be very interesting to see here what a pass this is from McGarry to find D'Agostino. That's what we're talking about, that quick movement forward and quick execution to try and get something on target. It looked as though Jack Wachowski just got a little mitt to that one.
Now Raw attack down the right flank. D'Agostino's been prominent. Roderick Miranda just kicks a clearance away on this occasion. Victory have got to be wary here. D'Agostino, a new dynamic to this Raw attack. And the home side can build down the left. Beautiful pass. And now a chance and a chip and a goal. And Charles Nduka puts Melbourne Victory in front. He breaks through. Just his 3rd appearance in the A-League, and he's opened his account. It was a beautiful pass to set him away, and the flag stayed down. Charles Nduka, the scouts can take a bow, and he has done the rest.
Well, the question was, where was Juan Mata going to receive the ball against the Brisbane Roar? And the Harvey Norman replay, it's Charles Nduka with a sensational run forward. It did not take him long to announce his arrival to his new home team. And it's always good for strikers to score early on in their new club career. But look at that pass from Juan Mata. Is there anyone else in the competition that would have seen that pass? It's beautiful execution. And when your strikers score early at home, the fans love it. Can he finish? Silly question.
So he had a good record in the J3 League in Japan, Charles Nduka. 7 goals and 6 assists in 28 appearances. His most recent goal was only as far back as November at Kagoshima United. And crucially, Juan Mata gets an assist. He was already the league leader. He had 7 assists. That's his 8th of the season. And he would have seen Daniel Wilmering had drawn within 1 from the Newcastle Jets. And he's now opened up a 2-assist lead at the top of that chart.
They're just absolutely quality, because good players go and find space and time, and it looked as though he had so much time to execute that. But we say that week in, week out. It's not a coincidence. That's the class of the man. Going out wide where Brisbane Roar haven't maybe got numbers. And what I liked most about that, Taya, is the combination relationship already with Nduka, making the run and understanding one Mata will find me.
So what changes for the Roar as they pursue an equaliser? Arthur Dillens, as we mentioned pre-kickoff, yet to taste victory against the team in orange. Bit of apprehension on the throw-in from Dench. Block tackle and then a clearance. Luda to shouts of handball. Back pass to his goalkeeper, Bazanis. Bazanis waves his attackers on. Salas in the attacking half. D'Agostino not on the same wavelength with that pass. Now from deep in the defensive half. Juan Mata going to work again. Velupale slows ever so slightly, cuts onto his right. On the overlap, the cross is cleared. Only as far though. Jean Rowe at the edge of the box. And a foul is given, and it gives us a chance to go down to Michael Zapponi on the sideline. Zappers, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Teo. Fantastic conditions here in Melbourne today. 24 degrees, the sun is shining, and a good crowd making its way into Amy Park. We spoke about in the pre-game this man, Charles Nduka, and what's impressed the Victory staff in the last few weeks is his running ability, and we saw he read the play beautifully on that occasion, made that run. He's hitting speeds of 37 kilometres an hour in training, one of the quickest at the club. And also the instruction was to him and to the wingers, when Juan Mata gets the ball, get ready, get on your bike and go. And that's exactly what he did.
Thanks, Zappers. We'll keep checking in as the game goes on, but I know that Nduka might be the new poster child for Jamestown Analytics, the scouting system that Melbourne Victory are tapping into with their connection to Tony Bloom as a partial owner of the club. So we see Juan Mata here. Everyone knows about Juan Mata.
Are you kidding me? He didn't even have much space to move that pass out of his feet. There's Michael Valkanis having to watch from the stands this afternoon, and he's already 1-0 down. So that plan to go the back five and maybe clog the middle, it's a different assignment when you come up against Juan Mata. Not many teams have, denied his influence early on in games, especially.
Victory happy to be patient here. What are you seeing with Charles Nduka as he works around the forward line waiting for a ball?
Well, Zappa's just touched on about his athleticism. That's the first thing that strikes you, but I've just watched him off the ball there going up against McGarry and Lauder, just going and bumping into them. It's great to see when a striker's going to try and unsettle a defender, because usually it's the other way around, but he's like, I've already scored a goal. I'm going to give you a torrid evening. And it seems as though he's got that bit between his teeth, which you could say with Nikos Virgos, maybe he lacked that. He's athletic in his own right, could score goals from anywhere, but it's just that fight, that grit that I'm already seeing from him that I'm impressed with.
Raw advancing numbers, trying to trap Victory in their defensive half. And Houston Salas has possession back now. Cleared from D'Agostino by Miranda. D'Agostino. Klein tried to drag the ball on. And a free kick in shooting range. No, offside instead. The flag is up. And Long went to ground, but in vain.
They're definitely getting more numbers forward. The Brisbane Roar, you can see they're trying to get it into the middle part of the pitch, and Semi Klein making runs off there, and that touch just made its way through to Long, who was in an offside position. But it's about getting numbers forward for the Brisbane Roar, but they still are not playing with a lot of width, and there's so much space on a football pitch. Sometimes you can't understand why they haven't shifted into something a little bit more wide in their formation, because it hasn't worked going centrally the last 6 or 7 games. Maybe that's the shift they need to make.
Well, they do have wingers on the bench today. Jacob Brissett could be in line to play for the first time since the 31st of October, his only 7 minutes of the season. And of course, Georgios Vrakas has been moved to the bench today, the Greek winger who's 17 appearances into the campaign and yet to hit the back of the net. But right now, the 11 that started the game, 20 minutes in, they've got a job to do. There's the victory bench, including Claris Mario Santos and also Nikos Virgos, among some of the young talents as well. Sixth appearance of the season and career for Jack Wachowski today, the 21-year-old goalkeeper. The player he targeted in the air there was Nduka. A little bit too much from the striker and the goal scorer. He gives away a free kick.
And that's probably something they can hang their hat on as well, playing up to Nduka and asking him to hold the ball in. He needs to be a little bit stronger in that area in terms of, you know, allowing Juan Mata to get close to him and engage with him, because that's the way that he can play something like that playmaking option in, just drop it off and spin around.
He's back in the action here. Luda over the shoulder with a toe poke. Klein went down in installments, and eventually there was enough to constitute a foul. McGarry. Back to Luda. Up the middle, D'Agostino and Klein, Klein's played it into his own teammate there, off the heels. Miranda with the mop up. Mata on the turn, and he sets Velupile away. An aggressive header out in front. Jelassic waiting in the middle, and the cross is intercepted by Bazanis.
That's dangerous. It's really dangerous watching Nishan Velupile gallop away at speed, and Juan Mata just taking another expert touch away from traffic and playing that pass over in the matter of seconds. It looks easy, but he makes all the simple things look easy because he's that good.
Velupile, another player that we know Tony Popovic has favoured when it comes to Socceroos selection, and Velupile with a couple of goals has repaid that faith in qualifying. It's the one thing about as Hayden Fox, Socceroos assistant coach, watching on from the stands, keeping an eye on proceedings. And why not today? Because, again, the way that Popovic has cast the net so wide, it means that there are so many players with genuine belief out there in the A-League that a couple of good games in a row, and they'll be at the top of the pecking order. Here comes another attack for Brisbane. And Valadon does very nicely to avoid conceding a corner as he strips the ball from Roos. Here he is again, Jordi Valadon slicing a pass that's going to work out nicely to Jelassic, and Melbourne Victory can break its speed here. And the pass is overhit. Rawlins had a corridor to break into, but the ball went long.
Every time they get the ball, Melbourne Victory look dangerous. They've got some great touches in there. There's Juan Mata, just easy as you like. He knew exactly what was around him, and Nishan Velupile, he's one of those players that now needs to step on the accelerator in terms of his performances, getting more numbers, and I think he's back to his best in terms of his fitness. He scored in New Zealand last week. I expect him to go and get something here this evening.
Aerial duel. Esposito. Now Jelassic. Luda back to his goalkeeper, Bazanis. Couple of oohs and ahs from the crowd, and Bizanis gives possession away. Valadon with the intercept, and now Keegan Jelassic telegraphed the pass, and Salas came in to intercept. However, possession is coughed up. Valadon, now Mutta, Jelassic, Keegan Jelassic blocked away. And Mutta, look at the hustle from the veteran to get back and make sure Victory keep the ball. So Victory with a couple of passes around the back line to reset. Mutta with the step over and the pass that connected, and the build-up continues. What a highlight this would be if Nduka could score! What a good save by Bizanis, and it was nearly 2 for Charles Nduka.
Some unbelievable football from the home side. Juan Mutta, stop it. There are other players out there trying to keep their positions. What a touch that was, and Nduka just stepped into a dangerous area. They backed off the Raw, and Bizanis with a belter of a save around the post there. That was almost number 2.
What a difference a goal makes. He's gone from memes to menace in the space of half an hour. Corner taken short, Genre, and cleared. Brisbane Raw battening down the hatches, trying to avoid going 2-0 behind here. Victory in the groove, and the Raw need a few more players to just do that, interrupt, get the ball back, spend some time in possession. Bizanis is going to give the ball straight back to Victory and Davidson.
It doesn't help. I think it's been a definite shift in terms of what they were asked to do at the start of the season, which was stay central and be hard to beat, and then trying to get that first goal and go on to hold on to the game. But now they're being asked by other teams to come out and play from minute 1 and try and create something themselves. They're not comfortable in doing so. That's a great pass from Miranda through the lines, and look at Juan Mutta. They were swarming around him.
So the infringement goes against Juan Mutta for lying on the ball and trapping it between his legs as 2 Raw players were trying to kick it out. And so the Raw have the ball in their attacking half, but again short-lived, and you see Borja Lima, he jumped in anger. He was hopping mad, quite literally, there at how they gave possession away.
Well, when you watch other teams in the competition, talk about the Newcastle Jets, Melbourne Victory, whoever it is, there's a pattern that you see with their passing, and they're able to keep possession because it looks as though there's been repetition there at the training pitch. This is what we're demanding. This is in our DNA. It's our philosophy. But with Brisbane, it seems like, okay, we want to now try and keep possession, but they haven't done the work on the training pitch. That's what it looks like.
And a mid-range free kick, exactly the sort of set-piece opportunity that can have Juan Mutta on delivery here. Oh, quickly taken, in fact. And the cross to the back post is just beyond the reach of the advancing attackers, and Raw sweep away. Just get it anywhere at the moment. Shawski roams out of his penalty area, and Valadon, so often the player that stays back at attacking set pieces. Esposito. And now Jelassic. Genre. Plenty of touches in this build-up for Danny Genre here. Juan Mutta. Valadon. Genre, Victory just pinging it around. Waiting for a gap. Lots of chat from the Raw, trying to stay organised here. And then Victory overcook it. And the Raw, can they sting on the counter? A lot to do for Roos. And he can't make too much headway. Here's Rawlins. through the left channel. Victory go. And they're going to escape here. Valupale tumbling into the box. Ludo with the clearance. And he's going to find a teammate. Oh, given away though. Roos coughs up possession in dangerous territory. Genro, Valadon. And now Juan Mata leaves the ball with Jordi Valadon. Out to the wing. And the cross from Davidson is blocked away by Salas.
And that's what the Brisbane Roar are hoping for, a stop in play, because if they win the ball back in possession, they've got nobody to kick the ball forward to and hold up and try and get themselves out of their own box.
Valadon's cross this time. Headed by McGarry to clear. 30 minutes ticked over. Victory enjoying a 1-0 lead. Davidson. Now the maestro, Juan Mata, to Valupale. He engages Salas and then untangles himself. Valadon, Valupale, and then as he tried to shovel the pass across, it was intercepted by Long, but escaping the defensive half is proving a challenge for Brisbane at the moment.
Yeah, listening to Archie Thompson on the couch before this game started, and I tend to agree with him in terms of, I think Melbourne Victory getting to a position where they're going to be very, very threatening.
Here's a cross from the left, headed away at the near post by Valkanis.
And you look at the lineup they put out this evening, Teo, and it looks almost as full strength as you can get, and they're enjoying themselves here.
Davidson's cross, Valkanis again. Salas just rips a right-footed pass, was hoping that he could connect with D'Agostino. Look at the possession in the last 5 minutes. Massive skew.
It's to be expected. I think Brisbane, had they not conceded that first goal, you could say, OK, this is not such a bad idea. But now what's the plan B? This is the problem for Brisbane, is getting out of this position. They're sitting in, hoping not to concede the second. But when they win the ball back, there's not enough players forward. They're hoping for a mistake in the back line.
Valupale looks up at Salas again, continues the duel. Mata, Jelassic, back to Valupale. Juan Mata. Luda's header, now Klein. And Valupale still getting back to his feet, tentatively there. D'Agostino trying to wreak havoc in the other direction. And he receives a very firm bump that leaves him prone. And play will now be whistled dead.
Well, there's a few things there. First of all, Ishan Valupale was calling for a penalty. There was contact inside the box. He just tried to get the ball away to Juan Mata. It's pretty difficult to tell from there. Valkanis going for the ball, but Seb Esposito, he's been really, really strong for Melbourne Victory. His availability is one thing, but he's led that back line when Jackson, Miranda have been out, and he just re-welcomed Nick D'Agostino to Amy Park.
Again, though, that's the sort of wrecking ball situation where if D'Agostino can get the upper hand and leave Esposito sprawling, then he's the one breaking away. Right now that's what the Roar are consigned to. Don't forget, 15 days until the AFC Women's Asian Cup kicks off. And the first game, Perth Stadium, Australia against the Philippines. Matildas looking to win their second AFC Women's Asian Cup. 15 days to go. And you can watch it all on Paramount+. So a little break here, almost a minute now expired. I wonder if that's a chance for Raw to discuss some fresh ideas about how to counter-attack. Will it break Victory's momentum with a good chunk of time still remaining in the first half? One ball here from Davidson. And Nduka, too physical with how he was able to wrestle to the ball side of Luda.
That's a big challenge for Luda, just coming into the country, let alone the competition. But yeah, it's good refereeing. But it wasn't a great deal in that challenge, but keep your eye on that one. It's just simmering along nicely.
Salas. And he succeeds in picking out Miranda in the air. Davidson to Valupale. Valadon. Lots of Victory's attacks going through that left flank at the moment, and Salas's turn to be on the end of a foul.
Yeah, it's a minor criticism of their game. Perhaps they need to go to Jelassic more, a little bit more on this right-hand side. Salas just stopped in his tracks and probably got lost in the sun a little bit, but did really well to judge the flight of the ball. It's a difficult ask playing against Nishan Valupale, who looks as though he's back to his best, Teo. This is the best I've seen him move in the last week or two.
Well, they missed a big chunk of the season. A late starter was built into the campaign. And the goal against Wellington is second of the season. 12 appearances as of today now. Diagonal ball here. Raw. Is this their chance to score against the run? It may well be a free kick. And D'Agostino with a blow to the face. And Victory are quick to surround the referee here. Michael Roos clearing out Denis Genreau. Is there more to the story with how D'Agostino has been felt?
Well, I think is that the way he's gone down, the elbow's raised from Genreau, 100%. Whether or not he knows D'Agostino's coming down low enough, that'll be the kicker for VAR if they do look at this. It's the fact that D'Agostino goes down low to try and maybe head the ball, but is he in a position to go and win that header? Or was he trying to take the contact in an intelligent way, shall we say?
Well, whatever the intention, he's been left sprawling here as a result and writhing in pain.
There is absolutely no way in the world Denis Genreau knows that D'Agostino is coming in from that angle. His eyes is on the ball, bouncing. I didn't see a swing of the arm either, which is probably going to help him out.
And the good news is there's no blood, at least that we can see. D'Agostino, his nose and teeth all appear to be unbroken. Very painful. Sean Evans has the final say. Looks as though the trainer never came out. Brisbane Roar are going to have the full complement on the pitch here for this attacking set piece. And how it will change the mood inside Amy Park if they can score an equaliser.
Well, Nick D'Agostino last week, he shows us he can still score goals, and if you give him half a chance, imagine what he could do if the Roar gave him a full one.
4 players discussing the plan over the set piece. D'Agostino has argued his case in the fullest. And again, these delays are all going to be tacked on to stoppage time at the end of the first half. So, at last, the free kick. Long, a deflected shot immediately, and a header from D'Agostino, no less, and held on to by Wyshorski.
It's the first shot on target. 38, 39 minutes, and it's not by design, but just pure luck, perseverance, call it what you like, but I just thought that was a really difficult option to play it and have a shot from that distance. It's very low percentage, and Melbourne Victory did really well in the end just to try and get out and block the shot, but they need a little bit more in that final third.
Is it something to build on for the visiting team? Dench. Pass intercepted by Rawlins. Valadon. And Duca. Oh, Valkanis was pointing to the ball as soon as he made the slide challenge. And Duca's not happy. You used the word simmering about 5 minutes ago, Eric, and it does feel as though the chippiness is starting to come into this game more and more.
It was a dangerous tackle coming in like that for Dimi Valkanis. He knew exactly what he was going to do to try and win the ball and protect his own leg from going in. Charles Duca does really well to jump out of the way. Now, a few players around the competition possibly would have stayed in and engaged, and not to try and win the foul, but maybe not smart enough to get out of that situation. And Duca has got a head on him.
So again, untangling all the afters from the free kick. The ball is cleared away. Salas. Victory have earned themselves a throw in, level with the penalty box. Salas kept the ball in, but not to a teammate's advantage. Wachowski picks out Jelassic, who then stumbles on the ball, and that opens the door for Sam Klein. However, his pass is cleared away in the blink of an eye. Back pass here, dangerous, sharked, and Duca comes in, and McGarry determined to make amends and cleans up his mistake. We're sensing the opportunity to hunt the ball, but the free kick is given away here.
Possession is something that Brisbane Roar really need to work on in terms of keeping the ball in order to alleviate some of that pressure. At the moment, Melbourne Victory are coming right on top of them, but when they win the ball back, Brisbane Roar, it's almost like they're giving it straight back to the home side, and it's asking them to come at them time and time again. It's really dangerous.
Bazanis out of his penalty area. Dench's pass intercepted and won away by Jean Rowe. Well, one thing that's very noticeable, Eric, is not just the absence of, as we see a long ball here and a late foul, not just the absence of Jay O'Shea, but his like-for-like replacement, Noah Myroney, suspended today. And Durrington having come in, as we see the replay of this foul by D'Agostino on Denny Jean Rowe. Awarded the first yellow card of the game as well. But the Raw midfield, they're lacking a creative passer in the mould of Myroney or O'Shea, because it was already quite an achievement to have installed Myroney in that role, and he seamlessly took up the mantle. But today, without both of them, they just look so different.
And to not then think about something else, another idea, maybe change the shape and think about, you know, getting players into wider positions. I know I keep banging on about it, but if you can't keep possession because you're winning the ball and playing into a congested area every time, the space is out wide, but there's less numbers. So Jay O'Shea, Milorad Stajic, massive blows to their campaign, and that makes a big difference. Yes, Myroney was in there, steadied the ship, but he gets himself suspended after, what, 8 or 9 games. That tells you about how far away and the distances and maybe just the control that someone like him, Myroney, and others are not able to control themselves in there.
I wonder if the first yellow card of the game might be enough to have others on notice then. Now that a few of the flashpoints that went unsanctioned previously are now sitting in the back of the mind of the referee. Don't be deceived by only a minute of the first half to go. There should be a decent little chunk of stoppage time. Flagged it earlier, and Duca, he's a very physical centre forward, always looking to mark his territory against whichever opponent is closest to him. Valadon switching flanks it out.
Yeah, it's good to see Valadon back in the side. No Dorigo for an extended period of time. He's been brilliant for Melbourne Victory. But now it's time for Geordie Valadon to step back into this role alongside Denny John Rowe, Juan Mata. They're not the tallest players in the competition, but they are so good at changing direction with and without the ball.
Wachowski collapsing onto the ball here. So we're ticking to 2 additional minutes at the end of the half. I'm a little bit surprised, Eric, because the ball in play time, 26.5 minutes out of the 45 that we've seen so far. Melbourne Victory, when they have been in full flow, have been able to make the most of it with the only goal so far. And they finish the first half with a flourish. Valadon. Rawlins making a run, and with the first-time volley, he's able to buy a corner from Dench.
That's really well worked, that from Melbourne Victory. That pass over the top from John Rowe, just to pick out Rawlins, and it is good defending in the end from Dench, but that's how quickly they can turn something that looks like it's not going to happen, and then all of a sudden, bang, someone's making a good forward run in a dangerous position. That's the difference between the two sides in this first half.
And a volley from Valupale, sliced high. And that takes us into the second of 2 additional minutes at the end of the first half. Juan Mata with the assist for Charles Nduka. Mata, 31 completed passes, 91% accuracy. And it won't surprise you, Eric, to know that he leads all players for passes into the final third with 16. The next highest is 11. Brisbane's highest for passes into the final third is Houston Salas with 7.
And this is going to be the question mark. You know, how could Juan Mata avoid the physicality of the Brisbane Roar? They've been a little bit toothless in this first half.
And that is what they'll have to ponder during the halftime team talk. And the goal scorer finishes the first 45 with the ball and a grin. Charles Nduka, his breakthrough goal. Juan Mata pulling the strings. He's clearly not satisfied, though. A rueful shake of the head, and his gaffer is straight down the tunnel as well. The game is still in the balance. Nick D'Agostino has had his moments for the Brisbane Roar, but they do need to find some fresh ideas if they want to bridge the gap. Because right now, it is Victory, the home side, who are in the ascendancy, and they lead in this contest against the Brisbane Roar by 1-0. On the other side of the break, the panel will break it all down. Stay with us here. You're watching the Isuzu Ute A-League Men's.
Say hello to the Ninja Slushie, the easy, convenient way to make frozen drinks at home. No ice means no watered-down drinks. No blending means smooth, perfect texture. Just pour, slush, and enjoy. You can make it with the Ninja Slushie. Resurgence!
Game on, baby.
Please, I need help! NCIS!
1, 2, 3.
The new season of NCIS Sydney, now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
There it is! Sam Kerr! Who else?
The Asian Cup is coming down under.
Huge moment for the Matildas.
With every game live on Paramount Plus.
He gets a strike away and the finish is delightful. That is special.
What a great sight for football fans.
The only place to see every game of the AFC Asian Cup is on Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus.
All right, people, all hands on deck.
I don't really recognize the world anymore. My team saw things, survived things.
There's something else going on here. Something bigger.
FBI, don't move!
But I know what kind of people you are. And I'm not giving up. We are FBI. And we still have a job to do to protect people. Let's move.
FBI, new season, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Now the hills are alive with the sound of murder.
You can let your fear take you down, or you can step into a better solution.
I have been thinking a lot about you.
I haven't thought about you at all.
They're boarding the ship.
This is how it is!
Athlete Academy on Paramount Plus.
But he scored here. Absolutely cracking strike. Confidence supreme. Can you believe this? The cross is not bad either, Oh, it's a wonderful strike. It's what the people came to see.
Warden, take care of my brother Kyle, and I'll take care of you.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
You're about to have a plague of outsiders descend on your town.
What you expect in return?
Partnership.
Let me tell you this. There's gonna be consequences.
Mayor of Kingstown. New season now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Monday, Zuffa Boxing is back with an explosive display of heavyweight power. Devastating puncher F.A. Ajagba collides with former title holder Charles Martin. Zuffa Boxing 3, only on Paramount Plus.
Well, we're feeling the love this Saturday. It's a Super Saturday football action heading your way across Network 10 and Paramount Plus. And Melbourne Victory, well, they are in the hot seat. All the love is out there. One goal to the good thanks to Charles Nduka, his third appearance for Melbourne Victory and his first goal for Melbourne Victory. Welcome to the Hungry Jacks halftime show and a very warm welcome back to Scott McDonald, Archie Thompson and Alex Brosk. You happy, Archie? I ask this of you because it is your former side.
Yes, I am happy. I thought that the game was going to play out how it was in that first half, where maybe Brisbane was going to sit deep, and they utilised that long ball in behind. And we did talk about Nduka's speed. I mean, and you're going up against someone that's just been in the country 48 hours. So you could see that he was still on the carousel trying to get to Nduka, but still had to do it. But it still was that first touch, is the acceleration to get onto the next one and the calm finish. That's a really confident striker there.
Nice pass, nice assist from Juan Mata.
Yeah, well, it's wonderful. You know, he's been doing that all year, hasn't he? And how much can we wax lyrical anymore about him? But that's what he's there for, and Nduka just takes it ever so well, doesn't he? He's so calm and collective. A beautiful finish.
And that's what was asked, really. I mean, they spoke pre-game about when Mata gets the ball, turns, faces forward, on your bike, you know, make runs, because he'll put it where it needs to be. Here again, you know, he gets half a turn in, Velupile, just not able, I think that's Velupile.
Yeah.
Just not able to get it across or get it under control. But that's the quality that he has in these areas. I mean, we're seeing it all half. Brisbane have to find a way to get closer to Mata, stop him from getting on the ball, because when he does, it creates all sorts of problems.
Oh, they came so close there. Melbourne Victory to a second. Charles Nduka, they're really having an absolute ball out there today, this afternoon as well. So, Brisbane Roar, Scotty, what do they have to do?
Look, before the goal, they actually looked pretty okay. You know, it looked like they were getting forward. You know, that Dench was trying to get forward out, you know, in that wide area as well. And you know, Royce and Long in behind, D'Agostino seemed to be getting a little bit closer to him. But then once the goal went in, they just sat off the game even more, and it became more difficult. As you see, D'Agostino's worked ever so hard today, been in a battle the whole game, and that's probably the best the chances for Brisbane Roar at all of 30-odd yards.
Yeah, and again, it's very limited to the chances they're going to get, I think, if they sit so deep. And when you're sitting so deep in your blocks, I mean, trying to get the ball to your strikers when he's isolated, we've seen it a few times with the teams this year, is that you're not going to be able to create too much. And I really like the way that Melbourne Victory is using the speed of Jelicic, Velupile, and Nduka. I mean, his presence. I know he's quick, but he's also strong. You can see him bustling out defenders. So I think they're sitting pretty at the moment.
Victory look in the mood. What would you change from a Brisbane Roar perspective?
Look, I think it's just been a bit more positive. You know, you saw when that goal went in, like Scotty said, up until that point, they looked okay. They looked like they were trying at least, you know, to get forward. As soon as the goal goes in, it's just back.
that started that Raw counter-attack, so it's all happened.
Nick D'Agostino had an issue last week, I thought, with maybe a groin or a hip or something. And Jordi Valadon has got himself into the book for something off the ball. It was that high foot there on Durrington, but you expect those sorts of tackles, and referee saw that to be a yellow card. But yes, it's worrying for D'Agostino. Coming back from overseas, his body maybe wasn't ready, but the Brisbane Roar have needed somebody up top to come in, but he might have just done something here.
Let's throw it down to ground level. Michael Zapponi rejoins us. Zappers.
Yeah, a bit of that magic spray going on the back there, and that's probably the same spot where he copped that heavy knock from Seb Esposito in the first half. But had a chat to the Melbourne Victory bench at half-time. You saw Juan Mata when he came off at half-time. He wasn't happy at all. His view was that they were too sloppy, giving the ball away in that first half. So they need to tighten that up because Brisbane are still very much in this game. Another interesting side story which has been unfolding during the first half and then again at half-time. Shane Stefanuto, as you know, former player at Brisbane Roar, involved now at the Roar, has been involved in towelgate in this first half. They're trying to get towels on the sidelines so when the Brisbane Roar have a throw-in, they can wipe the ball. The officials aren't happy with that. Apparently you need to get permission to do that before the game. They didn't seek permission, so every time a towel is thrown on the sideline, Melbourne Victory's kit man goes over and takes it away and puts it away.
Fascinating stuff. Zappa's keeping an eye on it for us, and well, maybe Raw were just subscribing to the idea that it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission on that one. And then you don't even ask forgiveness later. Here a Victory, and all eyes on D'Agostino to see how much longer he can continue participating in the game or if he's going to get back to full flight. Juan Mata, and now Jelassic. Here is Valupale. Juan Mata keeps the ball moving, but Nduka broke the wrong direction on that one. Klein almost lost the ball under his feet there. D'Agostino seemingly moving okay. Klein again. Now possession coughed up. Switch over towards Valupale. He couldn't track the ball on. Davidson. Genro clips it into the box. It sits up awkwardly and then volleyed on.
We talk a lot about Juan Mata in that middle of the park creating things, but Denny Genro's got some great feet about him and great awareness to look for that threatening forward pass. And if he wants to get himself into the Socceroos squad in March, he needs to be doing more of this. And he asks the question with some of those passes, his vision and his execution has been first class since he's come back into the side.
And here's what left Davidson fallen. Kick to the shins. That one was sore. Still on his haunches as he waits for this throw-in from the Brisbane Roar. Miranda's clearance. It's going to rear up off the surface. McGarry. And now Dench with a burst of acceleration and a driven cross. And an improvised clearance that finds its way to Valupale. And the ball skips out to Valadon. Davidson got within earshot of his teammate and then called for the pass. Now a long ball from Davidson. The header breaks central. It's there to be won. Jelassic challenging. And the referee says it's a foul by McGarry. Well, Melbourne Victory, I reckon that was a 40-60 at best for Jelassic there, but he made a contest. And now the free kick, well, it's going to be called back, taken quickly.
There has been a couple of these instances this evening. Players using their elbows to get up and gain an advantage. McGarry playing a little bit more centrally. Not used to having to battle maybe in the air so much, and just wondering just a distance for someone to have a shot. It was a bit too far for one Mata.
Dean Bazanis, I believe, asking for 2 players in the wall. D'Agostino and Long are the players that Bazanis has engaged to form a wall here. Well, Raw fans have happy memories of a Dimi Petratos free kick into this very net at Amy Park from this sort of distance. And a strike of similar quality might be what's required from this far out. Keegan Jelassic leaves it for one Mata. Mata with a little chip straight onto the head of Valkanis. And the follow-up at the feet here of Davidson, and he just volunteers the ball straight to Salas. Could the counter-attack be on for the Raw here? Long busting a gut but couldn't make ground. And Jordi Valadon, he is the player that's always back for the attacking set piece, and he did his role there. Roos rolling out to the corner. Flick pass. Victory had 3 defenders in the vicinity. Oh, and charging in. Roos with all the blood and thunder we've come to expect from Raw players this season, and he's ironed out Genro and got himself a yellow ticket.
Well, that's very, very naughty from Michael Roos going in here, and he's trying to get towards the ball. And Genro luckily sees him go between the legs, and there's no contact made, but the intent is there. That's why it's a yellow card and nothing more. But that was a decent foray for Brisbane Raw, getting forward and getting themselves close to Melbourne Victory's box with the ball on the ground. That's what they want to try and do more of.
Roos, 1 goal so far this season. That came on New Year's Eve, away to the Central Coast Mariners. Jack Rashorski gets play back underway. Valkanis up for the header. Valadon returns it. Roos straight back involved. Davidson down the line. Oh, high boots. And Duca gives away the free kick.
Just needs to be careful a little bit now, because Brisbane, if they're smart enough, they'll know that Nduka wants to get involved in all these sorts of tussles. He wasn't to know that Valkanis was coming in, and he put his head into the contest. Let's be honest about that. It's very, very smart, but he just needs to be careful in the A-League. You can cross that red line, and this man knows all too well about that.
Michael Valkanis in the stands, his son Dimitri out on the pitch. So the resulting free kick, which Dean Bazanis has waved his team forward and said, leave it to me. Down the right sideline it goes. Great control from Roos. A driving cross and a great chance for the Raw. Long! And an equaliser looked him in the face, and he fired over.
Well, he's got to hit the target there, Chris Long. That's the best passage of play we've seen from the Brisbane Raw. Michael Roos, what a pass that is. And the set there for Chris Long to come on to. It starts from Bazanis, it goes route 1. It's a beautiful control from Michael Roos, who just found that space, and Long's got to hit the target inside the box. It's a chance that goes missing for the Raw.
3 this season for Long, and perhaps that should have been number 4. And Victory are on notice here. The Raw have had a couple of promising attacks, one of them ending in a yellow card to Roos, the next ending with Long shooting over the crossbar. It's been a very interesting first 11 minutes of the second half. I wonder if Arcadellas now is going to have to start thinking about some subs, because Raw are trying to wrestle the momentum back. Giveaway here though, Valupale. And across comes McGarry. Roos, back pass, right into the traffic. Through comes Genro and Duca. Denny Genro, and the defence closes ranks for Brisbane. Luda sizes up the situation and decides to clear to the left, and what a good pass that is. And it gets Brisbane out of trouble. Another yellow card's going to pop out of the pocket here for delaying the restart of play. Seb Esposito goes in the book.
This could have repercussions later on. I feel as though there's a lot of cards being shown at the moment. Obviously, Sean Evans is not particularly happy with the way and the manner in which this game is progressing.
Another aggressive long diagonal here for Brisbane. Roos, high cross. Numbers on the opposite side. Can Dench make the most of it? Hooks it back into the penalty area. D'Agostino with a flick off. And just wide to the left, Sam Klein. He thinks it's a corner. Instead, it goes down as a goal kick. And that is nearly goals home and away against the Victory for Sam Klein.
Well, how many times have we seen this in the A-League? A team coming out after being dominated in the first half, responding in the second half. It's been really, really strong from the away side. They are getting closer. The fans, they can feel something is coming closer.
Well, Victory are going to make a sub. Claris Mario Santos is coming on, and Keegan Jelassic, who started today, will head to the sidelines. Santos, who's hit the back of the net 4 times this season. And a spectacular double on Australia Day against Sydney FC. Jelassic takes his leave, but Arthur Dillez is first to turn to the bench of the two managers. And there's one fan who, in particular, is thrilled to see Santos on the pitch. And so the Brazilian will be looking to add to his tally and maybe bring some new energy to Victory here, because the Raw are starting to really climb into this game to the point where it almost feels like an equaliser isn't too far away. Not if the Victory can do something about it. Here is Santos straight into the action. Juan Mata. Davidson. See, there's a renewed hunger in Brisbane Roar, and D'Agostino is leading the charge. Look at the sprint here to try and chase down Wachowski. A hurried pass. And the Roar are back in possession through the left here. D'Agostino fronting up once again. Pass over to Roos. To the edge of the box. It was tough to control, and it almost became an improvised shot on target from Long.
Well, they've got to get together here, the Melbourne Victory. Some couple of chances for the Raw. Roos just playing it into Long, who couldn't hold it up, and he had the space to turn. Miranda was not touch tight inside the box. It's getting away from them at the moment, the home side.
Hasn't Roos done well to channel all his energy into playing some good football ever since the yellow card as well?
Spot on. And that's going to be key for the Brisbane Roar, channeling the frustration, something they haven't been able to do in recent weeks. And, you know, the Melbourne Victory have got some tough games coming up. Taya, they've got the Derby on the 21st. They've got the original rivalry after that, and then the Big Blue. They can't be playing like this with 2 games.
Diagonal here, which is cleared by Wachowski.
It's about having that 90-minute performance is what I'm getting at. And you feel at the moment it's just a little bit patchy. They're not getting close enough, and Sammy Klein's got the quality to play those passes. It was good goalkeeping.
Valkanis. Durrington. Worth remembering, he had only played 1 appearance as a stoppage time sub before today, and now here he is at the hour mark of his starting debut. D'Agostino dispossessed. Miranda. Esposito. Juan Mata. Great touch to bring the ball under control. It was such an awkward, high-bouncing pass, and he killed it. And brought it to his feet. Santos not able to match the level of technique. Throw in, hurry. It's going to break in midfield. Klein commits, but Genro got to the ball and made it his own. Now Valupale through the right channel, and Rawlins stifled by the slide challenge of McGarry.
Yeah, he's one of Brisbane Roar's bests this season. James McGarry, great athlete, up and down. Position change this evening as well. And we haven't seen a lot of Charles Nduka in this second half. I'm wondering if Juan Mata's thinking about how he can engage in his big number 9, there's not enough movement around him and getting the ball to him has been a problem.
Well, Valadon was making an attacking run, but the defence is back and set. Miranda, Mata, Davidson, now Santos. Mata. Santos recycling the ball again. Pass after pass from Victory. Santos's cross, it's going to run all the way. Good save. Bizanis around the post. And that was nearly a cross-turn shot into a goal.
Yeah, it's a beautiful ball in the right area from the substitute, and Duca just couldn't get anything on this one. A lot of goalkeepers in the competition would have missed this. Not big Dean Bizanis. It's a really good reflex save.
He's laying down the law to some of his defenders. There's that moment, winning a corner kick here. Enough to swing the momentum back in Victory's favour. Juan Mata wasting no time over the corner. Davidson up for the header. Good away by Valkanis. That was his best Lucas Harrington impersonation with the great vertical leap. And now Brisbane not able to escape their defensive half, at least not yet. It's going to find its way out for a throw-in. The game is delicately poised here. Borja Lima speaking to his assistant coaches.
Well, it wouldn't surprise you that the most common scoreline in this fixture is 1-0. But I have a feeling it's not going to end here with just the one.
Santos heavily involved since coming on. But that is letting the air out of the balloon.
Well, it's dangerous to see Santos, Falupale back on the same pitch. Good fitness levels about them, making a run now, the Melbourne Victory, not just thinking about the top 6. And just took a little bit of a bounce before he hit that one. But Brisbane Raw's shape there defensively has made Melbourne Victory shoot from distance, and that's a positive sign if you're a Raw fan.
Nikos Virgos in the background, Mac Grimaldi in the foreground, and Josh Insera behind him. Victory subs being put through their paces. Who will be the next player summoned to come into the game? Nduka. McGarry rolls away, and a foul by Charles Nduka. Free kick taken quickly. D'Agostino. Roos and Long almost got in each other's way. Esposito. Now Rawlins. Oh, Valupale with maybe a fatigued attempt to bring the ball under his control there. And Raw do have a throw-in right on halfway.
Melbourne Victory just need to get the ball. They need to get the ball down and start making those passes and controlling the ball, controlling the tempo and controlling the game. It's as simple as that, but Brisbane have done a really good job at asking questions a little bit higher up the pitch. And if you've got a player like Michael Roos that can make runs forward, just get him to run and play that ball in. Last week we saw at KO Stadium a lot of balls going over the top before the run was made. And that's the difference now. Michael Roos moving into those channels.
Shawski able to field that one with a degree of comfort. The Raw press waiting at the edge of Victory's penalty area. Salas. Genro perfectly positioned. Mata equally so. And a bending pass around the line. Santos is away. And Duca in the penalty area in the middle. Davidson advancing. Santos. Oh, almost ran out of ideas. Davidson's there to help out and held on to by Bizanis. Well, a promising move ended up stalling at the feet of Santos there. Esposito and D'Agostino was offside.
It just all starts from that man Juan Mata finding space out on the touchline where nobody can get close to him and playing that ball forward. You can see on that left-hand side, Melbourne Victory as it was in the first half, very, very industrious. They've got Santos on that side, Valupale on the right. The fans want more. They want to see goals number 2 and 3 and 4.
We move into the 66th, 67th minute. And the game continues. At the feet of Jordi Valadon. Mata. Valupale. Santos cuts it back. Jordi Valadon. And now Jean-Ro. New Rawlins was getting forward on the right. And Nduka waiting in the middle. McGarry. He has become increasingly important as this second half has progressed.
It's beautiful play from Melbourne Victory. And in particular, the calm head of Denny Jean-Ro receiving the ball there and clipping one in and asking Rawlins just to roll it across, and he does a really good job at taking that good first touch. McGarry, important intervention.
And so Victory will have made the first 3 substitutions of the game now. Charles Nduka, his first goal coming in the first half, and he takes his leave about 2/3 of the way through the contest. It'll be like for like with Nikos Virgos coming on, and Nishan Valupale is the other player making way, and Matthew Grimaldi is going to come on here. So really, Victory not losing much in terms of attacking productivity, and fresh legs for the home stretch of this one. Virgos has not scored since his hat-trick against the Wellington Phoenix back on the 29th of December. Here's a corner. Mata, near post, and it sits up kindly for Grimaldi. What an introduction that would have been. Blocked away. Raw able to clear their lines. Long looking for more in a wrestle with Santos. There's afters between the two. And Sean Evans just let them sort it out amongst each other. Long refusing to be beaten. The whistle's gone away. Raw have possession. And now the whistle comes out as Roderick Miranda steps in.
This is the Brisbane Raw that you want to see. Going and being physical, taking a hit and getting up and getting on with it. No nonsense afterwards.
Michael Roos does have a yellow card to his name. He's going to be substituted here. Emmett Shaw, the 16-year-old, on for his 6th appearance. He got 21 minutes against the Mariners, so they're steadily building his game time here. Emmett Shaw, they really like him as a young prospect. And on he comes for the 6th time this season. And Chris Long is now going to rise to a jog to leave the game. And on comes Georgios Vrakas, who is still hunting for his first A-League goal since joining the Raw this season. So, 2 very different kinds of players coming on here. The teenager Shaw and the winger Vrakas for the final 20 minutes for Brisbane. And here comes a free kick. McGarry. There's a few sideways options on for him. He's going to go direct though. Hooked away by Miranda, and a follow-up volley. Durrington on starting debut lashes that one high and wide.
No surprises. McGarry putting a great ball in. Valkanis was sneaking around the back post and almost got through to him. It's the first piece of action Durrington's seen in front of goal.
You and I were watching a highlight of him scoring against, apologies to Scott McDonald back in the studio, the Gold Coast Knights in pre-game. Is where the action's taking place. So a bit more of a midfield battle in this second half.
From a Melbourne Victory perspective, you don't want this game to get to that point where Brisbane can counter-punch and get back into the game and equalise. They've got to go and find this second goal. And if you're Arthur Dillis right now, that's going through the mind. And that's why he put Santos on, why he put Virgos on. They're trying to execute and get that second goal, which is a positive move from the coach.
And we saw Arthur Dillas's reaction to Victory winning this free kick here. A wide set piece opportunity. Valkanos whipping Virgos to the ground. Juan Mata takes the free kick quickly, too quickly for the referee's liking. So now we're set. Mata. An out-swinging free kick. And the header is wide. Well, good positioning from Jason Davidson, but his search for a first A-League goal since 2022 continues.
It's been another clinic from the Spaniard. Passes, free kick deliveries, world class.
There's a decent handful of shirt there in the marking of Davidson. I don't think that's the reason we're delayed, though. It's not due to VAR, it's due to the ball boys getting the ball back to Dean Bazanis. And indeed, the ball is now back live as the raw play out through Sam Klein. Unable to split a couple of Victory midfielders, but the ball breaks kindly. Durrington, Vrakas, not able to take the ball with him. Santos backtracking. Wachowski onto his preferred right foot. And that pass gets the better of Rawlins. One thing we've not really spoken much about in this second half, Eric, is Marius Ludo. Is he about to go the full 90 on his Brisbane Raw debut?
It's a big ask. It looks as though he's moving well enough, and it's not 40 degrees, which definitely helps the Norwegian. And yeah, it's been, apart from the goal getting outpaced, but Charles Nduka's absolutely lightning quick, and he'll learn from this slaughter, but he's got that experience. You can just see him going there, winning the tackle, forcing and finishing the play, making sure that it's done.
I was worried that was the commentator's curse for a second, but no, he was just fixing up his boot rather than cramping. It's Raw striving to get the ball in on the sideline. Nope, the line wins. Dench not able to make ground in the nick of time. Razor thin call, but the assistant referee perfectly positioned over on the outer side. An aerial back and forth. Juan Mata trying to bring it to ground, but the Raw have numbers. Klein. Shaw. Luda. Drifting diagonal ball. Finds Salas. D'Agostino calls for a cross at the back post. Salas to Emmett Shaw. Now Valkanos to Klein. Raw working the ball from one side to the other. Dench. And now Klein. A quick 1-2 with D'Agostino. And D'Agostino! Goals in consecutive games for the Socceroos hopeful. And even though he declines to celebrate against the Victory, the Raw away bay have no such problems. It's 1-1.
Unbelievable stuff from D'Agostino. He knows this Amy Park pitch all too well on the Harvey Norman replay. It's the best passage of play this evening from the Brisbane Raw. It's a beautiful 1-2 between Klein, and he just continues that run. Nick D'Agostino, he's a big bruiser outside of the box, but inside he's very, very refined, and it's a refined finish for the Brisbane Raw, man. That's 2-2 for Nick D'Agostino.
And it's his first goal against the Melbourne Victory since he was wearing the colours of Perth Glory some 6 years ago in February of 2020. I don't know if his reward for scoring was a bit of pickle juice or if he's just been trusted to stretch out the cramps himself. But we have a game, and Victory, they've subbed on some attacking alternatives here, and they've got a match to go and chase now.
Well, it's absolutely scary that Melbourne Victory, after that first half performance, weren't able to capitalise on the way they had the Brisbane Roar in that stronghold. And you've got to give credit to the away side. They've battled away, and that passage of play was just excellent.
Juan Mata, a bending cross. He's picked out McGarry, and now Bazanis claims. It's going to be a big final 13 minutes plus stoppage time here. Brisbane Roar, if they complete the comeback today, just a reminder that they will leapfrog Melbourne City, Adelaide United and Melbourne Victory and take 5th spot on the ladder, at least before Adelaide kicks off against Sydney FC later tonight. The rewards are massive if they can find one more goal and keep the Victory out. Davidson crashing in on Vrakas. Sean Evans, the referee, makes the hand circle to symbolise getting the ball. Juan Mata. Great touch from Valadon. Mata. And now Grimaldi. He didn't get any bend on the attempt, and that's because it took a deflection.
Yeah, he's dangerous. Every time he gets the ball, Juan Mata, he's got a different ensemble cast to play with out there. The fans want more. They can see it. They can sense it.
Mata's had a couple of corners from this right side in the second half. An in-swinger, no exception here. Bazanis commits. Grimaldi sliced it across the laces and out.
Good ball in. Nobody going and challenging it. At least 3 or 4 Raw players helping out Dean Bazanis.
And perhaps that cramp is enough to end the game of Raw's goal scorer Nick D'Agostino. Justin Vidic is ready to come on here. D'Agostino, goals in consecutive games, 2 in 4 since returning to the A-League.
I think a lot of people had their eyebrows raised at the move for Nick D'Agostino, but you cannot go against what's happened in the last 2 games. He's done his job. He's scored when he's had a half a chance last week, and this one was a full chance. It was a sweeping move from the Brisbane Roar, and that's what he's been brought to the club to do, put it in the back of the net.
So Vidic comes on, 3 goals this season. He's watching Jason Davidson clear here. Valkanis, Shaw. Still Emmett Shaw, but he's working the wrong way. Genre. Raw able to turn this around. Now a forward pass. And yes, they can counter. Vrakas making a move through the middle, and a takedown tackle here. Vidic is able to get a yellow out of Rawlins in one of his first moves off the bench.
It's a bit like that for the Melbourne Victory right now. They are nervous. They are tinkering on the edge here of Brisbane Roar coming and snatching this game away from them. This is frightening stuff.
Mid-range set piece here. Vrakas back to his feet with no fuss. No more super boot of Chris Long on the pitch anymore, so James McGarry seemingly has uncontested domain over this free kick. McGarry onto the head of Valkanis. Oh, what a chance! It wouldn't have counted. The offside flag goes up. Of course, Valkanis and Wachowski weren't to know.
Well, there's one player that wants to pull his side out of this mess. It's Dimi Valkanis. Just a little bit of a false start, but McGarry yet again with a perfect delivery from set pieces.
Well, a smile on the face of the suspended gaffer, and well, his expression changes because Georgios Vrakas and Jason Davidson a jarring.
Well, here we go.
Well, neither is refusing to back down in this war of words, but it is only words.
Well, Brisbane just want to get on with the game, and I'm sure that he's maybe running with the ball to save his own time to get back in, but there's no need for the response. That's what Jason Davidson is saying.
More conjecture over restarting play here. All sorts of gamesmanship going on. It's back with Miranda, who gets things restarted. Esposito doesn't want to play it square with Justin Vidic in the vicinity. As the ball finds its way out, down to Michael Zapponi on the sideline. Zappers?
Yeah, we got a hint of this at half-time. We saw Juan Mata's reaction. He wasn't happy with the way that they were unable to keep the ball, and it's a worrying sign for Melbourne Victory because they have been inconsistent this year. If you look at their results since the start of the calendar year, they haven't been able to string consistent results and win back-to-back wins together.
That's a good point, Zappers, and thank you for being all over that reaction at half-time. It didn't fit with what we'd seen in the first 45. Juan Mata walking off, ruefully shaking his head. But now we have the context for it, and his concerns were well founded. Still plenty of time to go, but it's the Raw who are making a real go of a comeback here. Long-range free kick this time for McGarry, waving and directing a lot of players forward. Luda is going to stay back with the free kick taker, McGarry. Well, he's hooked it, maybe deliberately into the path of Houston Salas. Maybe not. It's comprehensively knocked out by Santos for a throw.
Yeah, Santos has come on and into this game expecting to attack and go forward, but he's had to get back and help his backline out at least 3 or 4 times now. That was a really well-timed challenge. It needed to happen because Salas is a tricky customer.
Long throw from Salas. Straight onto the head of Jean Rowe. Luda caught in possession. And he's just going to have to eat a yellow card here for fouling Virgos. McGarry with an apology. And Nikos Virgos knew exactly what was happening.
Yeah, that's one that needed to happen. Just that touch to go back into traffic. Valkanis' partner there was getting back to help out, but
Mata. Virgos goes to ground.
Well, there's contact made. One of those ones that maybe not enough, and he's just trying to say that he has got a sore foot rather than it should be a penalty.
He's back on his feet here. Santos. Mata. Salas is able to win the ball away. Raw looking to counter. Vidic. Waits for the run of Vracas. And Roderick Miranda is able to get to the ball down in the corner. Turn it around to Jason Davidson. Into the last 5 minutes of regulation with scores level at Amy Park. Santos. Juan Mata. Little back heel. Santos. Jordi Valadon. And now Rawlins. Grimaldi. And he's outpointed.
Melbourne Victory have scored 15 goals in the second halves of games. As you see the Paramount Plus player index, John Rowe leading the way, and all dominated the top 5 by Melbourne Victory players.
That is interesting. We will revisit the Paramount Plus player index post-game. A late goal will no doubt shake that up. McGarry is cramping here. A lengthy delay, this one. Now McGarry eventually gets back to his feet. You do hope that the fourth official, Johnny Barrero, is timekeeping all of this. Now the physio arrives.
It's a critical moment, this, Teo. Melbourne Victory, I want to try and finish with a flurry. Brisbane Roar players being told to get ready just in case, but you wonder if 1-1 is what they're after, because this second half has been a really improved performance, and the question needs to be asked, why wasn't it like this in the first half? You see Shane Stefanuto replenishing the fluids.
He's made his way around from the bench to behind the goal. So with the physio being called, McGarry has to go off here. And it will be 11 versus 10. Even one phase of play with an extra man could make such a difference here for Victory. Can Rawlins execute the long throw? So, here's the long throw from Rawlins. Flick headed by Grimaldi and volleyed away by Valkanis. Rawlins, Geordie Valadon. He fired the shot, but straight into three Raw defenders. McGarry waved back on, and Salas's clearance will ricochet out for a goal kick. So the Raw survive that one phase of play down to 10 men.
Yeah, it's almost breakfast this for the Brisbane Roar, defending the box. It's something that they can do with the numbers, and it's an experienced backline when you look at, you've now got the likes of Marius Lauda in there, Salas, McGarry, Buzanis. These are guys that know how to see a football match out, so the scores are locked. Just wondering if they can go and snatch victory here, the away side.
Long clearance from Buzanis. Follow-up from McGarry. This time he wins a free kick.
He's been good today. McGarry, he's been involved in everything. Going forward, leading the line at the back, being cute when he needs to.
And now he will take the free kick that he won. To the edge of the box, Valkanis' header, and Wachowski watches it out for a corner. Had to bat it down. Maybe worried about a bit of backspin off the header. He's made the save.
Well, Brisbane have scored from 4 headers this season. Victory have scored with 6, so I was half expecting somebody to score with their head tonight. And Dimi Valkanis has been the closest on a number of occasions.
And the game will tick into stoppage time. Darrington has gone the full 90 on his starting debut. Can he come up with a perfect corner right at the end of the afternoon? Darrington's corner to the near post, headed away. Valadon, a flick on, Klein into traffic, and then volleyed clear. Once, twice. Davidson had the answers. 6 additional minutes. Plenty of time for both teams. Arthur Dillez looking calm, but right now it's the Raw looking for a winner. Shaw, Santos denies him a corner. Brisbane organising. They reload to go again. It's a deflection that Esposito has to clean up. And now it's his turn to avoid conceding a corner on the opposite side.
Gee, they're panicking. Unlike Melbourne Victory, it's a panic at this point in the game.
Big moment for Jacob Brissett. He's back for the first time since October the 31st. His only appearance of the season prior to right now was as a 7-minute substitute against Melbourne City. And the 20-year-old hoping to restart an A-League career that was very promising last season. He gets the bulk of stoppage time here to relieve Matthew Detch. Long throw from McGarry. Klein up, and illegally so.
This will be very important for Melbourne Victory. How do they start this play? As we see the live ladder, what does a point do for either of these sides? Melbourne Victory still inside the 6. It doesn't get Brisbane into that position that they want to be in unless they can find another goal.
And they might hear Brissett off the bench, not the touch he was after. Davidson. Juan Mata is on, but Davidson wanted to push it further afield. Salas intercepted. Now he bends it around the right sideline. Brissett. Taken by Jean-Rowe, and then Davidson keeps it in. Good stand-up challenge, though. Esposito, calm. Jean-Rowe, Miranda. And then Davidson not able to win a throw-in with Vrakas next to him.
The orange shirts have been much better in their distances this second half, at getting numbers around in those wide areas to stop the threats of players getting the ball and looking forward. You can see Davidson not having much time and space to get his head up.
Borja Lima was actually holding the ball there, waiting to hand it to Houston Salas, just making sure that Marius Luda was okay to continue.
Has he meant to do that? Because you get another throw. How many can you do?
Sean Evans indeed sees Salas now hurl that ball down to the line, and Victory will retrieve it and keep it in. Half of the original 6 minutes has expired. And Bazanis will watch that long ball bounce out. Juan Mata, the Ninja player of the match. He is the assist leader by 2 in the league outright at the moment, with his 8th of the campaign today. Boos ringing around Amy Park, wanting Dean Bazanis to restart play, and he does so, driving it as high and long as he can over the head of Brissett. Follow-up comes from Durrington. Klein. Oh, and I think that did take a deflection. It's going to be a corner kick. A late chance for the Raw to take all 3 points.
Well, they can feel it. The away supporters that have made the travel down. Borja Lima. Have they got something in the locker that they've worked on? A few nervous faces there.
Right now, yeah, you can see the stress of the Victory home end. Only one Raw player in the penalty area as they take the corner. And the ball breaks, and the referee says offside. So we're ticking to the last minute of the initial 6 that were allocated. Wachowski ran a long way out of his penalty area to play that pass. Now Esposito, to the urging of the home fans, do Victory have one last hurrah? Off the chest of Dimi Valkanis. Back up to the halfway line. And that throw-in is going to come back, because it was taken too far advanced up the pitch.
Something's got into Melbourne Victory's head at half-time, or when they came out in the second half. Yes, you've got to give Brisbane Roar credit, but if they want to challenge for silverware this season, the home side, they've got to be a bit more threatening. It looks as though they've forgotten how to play in the second half.
Well, stoppage time is up. How much more does Sean Evans tack on for additional winding of the clock within the 6 minutes? This might be the last phase of play in the game. It will be. It won't be. It's offside. And again, insisting the restart be taken from the right spot. 30 seconds beyond the additional 6. Santos. And that is going to tumble out for a goal kick, and that might be Victory's last hope of leaving with the 3 points. And that first career win against the Brisbane Roar is indeed going to evade Arthur Dillers. 2 draws and a loss in 3 head-to-heads, and well, Michael Valkanis, in the games he's been suspended, now has a win, a draw, and well, a loss. But today, Melbourne Victory, Charles Nduka opened the scoring. Brisbane Roar hit back and were really making a lot of the running through the second half, but ultimately we're happy to settle for a point on the road. And Borja Lima, in his 3rd game in the dugout, now has the full set of results as well. Nick D'Agostino scored Brisbane's equaliser, came off as he was cramping soon after. And that is the final score at Amy Park. Melbourne Victory 1, Brisbane Roar 1. Eric Partaloo, let's get into the Harvey Norman highlights.
Well, it all started with that man, Juan Mata, releasing the speedster. And Nduka getting his first in front of the Victory faithful. And didn't they just enjoy that? He was very strong in that first half, and he was too quick for that Brisbane Roar back line. But they came back the second half, the Roar. A beautiful little passing move of about 9 or 10 passes. And the ex-Melbourne Victory man, Nick D'Agostino, got his 2nd in 2 games. It's a really tidy finish, and he's making a habit of that.
You've gone for Juan Mata as your 3 points in the Alex Tobin medal?
I think he was the only player that was really looking forward and getting passes forward, looking to score. John Rowe had a good, solid game, and McGarry was a